such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbows and waiting around the bend, my huckleberry friend, Moon River and two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbows and waiting around the bend, my huckleberry friend, Moon River and
That was delightful, thank you. Good evening all, and welcome to the 2023 Anatomical Donations Program Memorial Service. My name is Glenn Fox, and on behalf of the faculty and staff of Anatomical Sciences, I offer you our deepest gratitude. We gather here at the intersection of our lives, callings, and aspirations. We gather with our own beliefs, intentions, and reasons, united within the security of one of our most sacred social contracts, that we shall each give of ourselves in service to all of us. I find it beautiful that in bringing together anatomical donors and students, we create a relationship of reciprocal beneficiaries. Anatomical gifts advance knowledge and build skills which are returned in service to society. Among us are students from the medical school and School of Dentistry, whose lives and careers are forever entwined for the better with the donors with whom they've worked. They are our legacy, and we hold tightly to the truth that to whom much is given, much is also expected. I wish for us all legacies of kindness, compassion, empathy, and of building monuments of wisdom from blocks of knowledge so that we may all benefit. It is my great honor to introduce to you Chaplain Elizabeth Seymour, who will deliver our invocation.
I invite you to find the quiet place within yourself. Let your breath slow. Notice as you breathe in and as you breathe out. I believe prayer is not so much about words, but about connection, about remembering that we are not alone. As you breathe and rest in the quiet, allow yourself to open to connection, to the people around you, to the memories of your loved one, to the energy or presence of love and light. You may have a name you call on when you enter into prayer. Call upon this name now. As we come together, connected by a shared experience of grief, a shared experience of our loved one's donated physical form, allowing medical students to sustain future lives. We come in gratitude for the many lives that are remembered here today. We honor these lives and celebrate the memories we have. We pull the face of our loved one into our mind and hold them in our love. We give thanks for the times we had with them, both the ups and the downs of living life. But most of all, we're grateful for love, which is stronger than death. We pray that we will be brave in our remembering, honest in our sorrow, and open in love and compassion. We seek not so much answers to our questions, but rather the patience to mourn and grieve. We seek to remember with joy the lives of those we have loved. We open to peace, that we might bear our sorrow without bitterness and be able to look forward slowly, one day at a time. May we gain some comfort knowing that just as our loved one blessed others in their life, so too in death their body is blessing others in education and the ability to heal, cure, and save future lives. May the medical students be blessed with deep understanding. May the faculty be blessed in their abilities to pass on knowledge. May the education given and received from the donations of these families go on to bless many other families. We hold in gratitude the donations of physical forms and those willing to make those donations. We give thanks for each of our loved ones whom we remember today, for the ways in which their lives and their love continue to be with us and continue to bless others. In our sadness and with thanksgiving, we will remember them. Let us come back to our breath, noticing again as you breathe in and out. Allow your heart to stay connected. If there is a word or action within your faith tradition or spiritual practice when closing a prayer, I invite you to do or say this now. And when you are ready, you may open your eyes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna Fassman. I'm a first-year medical student, and I'm really honored to be speaking to you tonight. Down a long hallway in the main hospital, right across from the UH cafeteria, names of loved ones lost fill the windows, often backlit depending on the time of day. These names are written in bright neon window paint, the same paint that usually fills the windows of cars used to celebrate senior homecomings, proms, and graduations. The names are easy to miss if you are rushing to a clinic, hastily grabbing lunch, or sprinting by on your way to a meeting. But they are there so we, as a hospital community, inevitably slow down and bear witness to community members we've lost, to the people who loved them and took the time to write out their names. On day one of anatomy, the first-year medical students are given time to meet their donors, getting used to the experience of working with what the anatomy staff calls our first patients. That morning, I made sure to eat breakfast, second breakfast, and drink lots of water, scared I would pass out when seeing my donor for the first time. My anatomy partner and I read and reread the one line we were given about our patient, containing her age and her cause of death, both nervous to begin our time in lab together. We learned she had Alzheimer's disease before she passed away, having lived into her 80s. In her, I saw both of my grandfathers who passed away too young, both of brain diseases that robbed them of their independence, memories, and intellect. I imagined her last few years and understood what her family may have gone through as she slowly forgot the things that made her who she was. But after that first meeting, I also began to ask questions about her life and the things that mattered most to her. The possibilities were endless, reaching as far as my imagination could take me. Knowing so little about her, I could imagine the best possible versions of her life and the roads not taken. Yet the truth is, we'll never know our donor's name, where she called home, or the things that inspired her, moved her, motivated her to get out of bed each day. We don't know about the people she loved and left behind, or what the end of her life may have looked like. But each anatomy lab, I tried to take a moment, however brief, to appreciate the immense gift she gave to me and the other first-year medical students who were able to work with her throughout the year. She allowed me to learn from her, to struggle through some 8 a.m. anatomy labs, and to leave energized and excited after others. Today, I bear witness to her life, to the lives of everyone who loved her and let me learn from and with her this year. She was my first patient, and perhaps someone else in this auditorium knew her as a grandmother, a mother, a wife, a friend. She has a name, and even though I will never know it, I still choose to bear witness to the grief and joy she left behind for those who knew her. I celebrate her and all the other donors to our anatomy program and the people who love them. Most importantly, I thank you for trusting us to care for our first patients.
Hi guys, my name is Joanna, and I'm also a first-year medical student here. When I saw my friend for the last time, he said to me that he wished that he could guarantee that he could be a positive part of the world. We chatted briefly about the concept of altruism and what small actions can lift others up. We parted ways after that, taking the New York City subway trains in opposite directions. I think about him every day. I think about him when I'm listening to a song that we danced to live at a concert. I think about him when I drive past the little cafe when we first met over a decade ago. I think about him whenever I'm working on mental health advocacy, as he lights the fire within me and keeps it going, even though I am tired. But most of all, I think about him every day because by just being in my life, he was a positive part of this world. He reminds me to give every day, even if through small actions that seem insignificant. He reminds me to take time for myself in order to help others, and even in his death, he never stops giving. There's a saying that we die twice, once when we pass away, and then when someone thinks of us for the last time. I personally find this thought both comforting and terrifying because I don't know what comes after, but the people who decided to give even after they lived, the people who volunteered to help the next generation of physicians learn how to become better doctors and people, and the people who dedicated their lives to bettering the health of others even after their own lives will never be forgotten. Every single medical student comes into their first year trying not to be overwhelmed by the sheer volume of knowledge, and we are all terrified to mess up and to hurt someone. And your loved ones gave us the safety net of learning, and for that we are forever grateful. We will never forget the gift we were given, and your loved ones will live through us as we grow as future caregivers and better people. Your loved ones will live through every single patient that we interact with in the future. We also extend that love to you for inviting us into your lives. For you to put your trust in us is a privilege and an honor. I feel consistently humbled by this gift, and I know that my classmates feel the same. We hope that we do not take this gift in vain, and we did not take this gift without profound gratitude. I also know that every single person has left an incredible impact on all of you. We hope that today is a day that we can celebrate your loved ones with you, not only for what they did for us, but also for who they are as people. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Soni, and I'm a first-year medical student. I have been fortunate enough in my life so far to have made many good friends, And as the years have gone on and time becomes more limited and precious, I have often found myself reflecting on what exactly makes a good friend. My truest friends have been the ones around whom I can be vulnerable, and often that vulnerability is reciprocated. They allow me to make mistakes without judgment, but also gently challenge and guide me in the right direction in order to grow and learn. They are champions of my biggest accomplishments, but have also been there at my lowest points. We may not know what the other is always thinking, but we share a mutual respect for each other, a respect that comes from shared values. If you had told me that one of my truest friends that I would make this year would be someone whose name I will never know, I would have told you that's silly. This past year, your loved ones have offered my colleagues and me a space to be vulnerable, to make mistakes without judgment, to explore and grow. Together we learned so much medicine that a textbook or a PowerPoint or a lecture could never teach us, because in order to truly understand the human body, we must appreciate the intricate connections and patterns that beget marvel and awe and ultimately life. Your loved ones allowed us to feel safe asking questions in our practice of medicine, something a true friend does, a space to explore, to make mistakes, to grow. This is what your loved ones gave us this past year. I remember feeling a sense of closeness when I thought about the hands that made beautiful things with loved ones, feet that walked different paths of life, minds full of memories, emotions, and dreams. I so wish I got to know what made them laugh, what made them cry, what made them get up in the morning. But there's one thing I will never, ever wonder about them. Through unspoken communication, they shared their values, their commitment to service and the practice of medicine. Their donation was the ultimate display of vulnerability and dedication to the health sciences. And their respect for our training and advancement will ultimately make us better students and eventually physicians. They are our first patients. And when I struggled to believe in myself, they remind me that they gave me the ultimate gift because they believed in my potential to impact thousands of lives in the future. Truly, they remind me of the goodness that exists in this world. So on behalf of my class, I want to thank you, family and friends, and especially our donors, for the gift of vulnerability, compassion, and commitment to our practice of medicine. Thank you.
summer kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I'll hear old winter song. But I miss you most of all, my darling, when autumn leaves start to fall. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I'll hear old winter song. But I miss you most of all, my darling, when autumn leaves start to fall. But I miss you most of all, my darling, when autumn leaves start to fall.
My name is Riley Jepkema, and sticking with the trend, I am also a first-year medical student. I actually met my first donor when I was 19. I walked in to see him shortly after intake. At the time, I was honestly a bit of a mess. Life was difficult, and I wasn't sure what path I wanted to take, hence me ending up with this research opportunity where I met my first donors. I spent the majority of my summer with them. I never knew their names or their stories, only what I could piece together from their scars and their marks and their tattoos. I learned to read the stories of their lives in their bones, but I felt like I knew them. I knew them in a way deeper than most people know each other. I found peace working with them, and I found medicine, and I learned so much. It is a very human thing to pursue knowledge, to improve yourself beyond the scope of what nature seems to set. We have done amazing things. We've sequenced our genome, flown to the moon, and we can get inside of someone and fix what's wrong. It truly is amazing. It's what sets us apart from other life on this planet. We have this undying curiosity to learn and to grow and to try again until we succeed. We would be nowhere without those who lent their bodies for us to learn. But more importantly than the anatomy and the medicine, I learned two things: humility and generosity. Anatomy Lab was a very humbling experience. Here are people that choose to allow us to know them inside and out. They allow themselves to be seen, fully seen, with no room for shame or embarrassment. We can all take a page from that book. And there is the humbling experience of being asked, "What is this?" and having to admit you have absolutely no idea, or thinking you found one structure that turns out to be a completely different structure, and truthfully, you have no idea how you confuse them. But that's part of life, right? We're here to learn. If there's one thing medical professionals need, it's humility. Humility to culture, to mistakes, to simply not knowing the answer despite being in school for over 10 years. Humility keeps us learning. And then there's generosity. We are given one gift, one life, and it is ours to share for the betterment of others. We can be mentors. We can be teachers. We can share the spoils of our knowledge and our mistakes. So, to our donors here and anywhere else, I thank you. We thank you. Without you, we would not be the same. We will carry your gift with us always. From you, I learned how a pacemaker is attached, what an invisible illness can do to the brain, how arthritis impacts the joints, and what happens after an organ is removed. Lectures can tell us, but they cannot show us the really very real effects of these ailments. And to you, the families and friends of our lovely mentors, thank you. You had amazing parents, children, friends, and without them, we would not be the same. I certainly wouldn't have ended up here, and I hope someday I can pass on this gift.
My name is Claire Ashmead Mears. I am from Cleveland, Ohio, and I am a second-year clinical medical student here at Michigan Medicine. 2 months after I was accepted to Michigan Medical School, my grandfather passed away. It was just after my 27th birthday, and he was, in many ways, the person I loved most in the world. Like my grandmother, he chose to donate his body to the Department of Anatomy at Case Western Reserve University. This is what I was thinking about over a year ago when here at Michigan, I, like all first-year medical students, entered the anatomy lab. I do not know why your loved ones chose to give this gift to Michigan, but I can speak for my grandfather and his reasons. First, he was an atheist. I am not, but he was, and he had no issue with anything happening to his body after he died. He did not think he would be present or bothered. Second, he was a scientist. His career was in physics, and he believed nothing was more powerful or important than learning, in particular, helping young people learn. Third, he got cremated for free. He grew up in the Great Depression, so that was a big selling point. As for my grandmother, his reasons were her reasons too. They were from that era, and they had a beautiful and very traditional marriage. My grandfather's confidence in his own decision did not make it easier for me to go into the anatomy lab in September. I was concerned that I would see something that would frame his donation in a new and negative light, and that I would regret his choice. It did not help that my anatomy partner was a 6'4" athlete from Stanford who, through no fault of his own, really reminded me of the celebrated film Animal House. I won't and can't explain what the experience of working with the donors is like, but I can confirm first that it is very meaningful, and second, that my anatomy partner is one of the sweetest and most respectful guys I have ever met, and I think is also sitting in this audience. All of us, I think, as we enter the anatomy lab, are imagining that moment when we may be called upon to make an incision into a patient. All of us, I know, are scared. We are scared, as has already been said, that we will not be good enough, that we will hurt somebody, and to hurt somebody is, in some sense, to hurt an entire world, because, as you all know, the connections each person makes stretch far beyond his or her physical body. My grandfather knew that, and perhaps your loved ones knew that too, because they have offered us and the classes below and above us the opportunity to learn what that feels like, to learn what it is like to do the most invasive thing you can do to a person's body, to help prolong or improve that person's life. It is terrifying, and it is exciting, and it is invaluable. My grandparents and your loved ones have made it possible for us to practice medicine, and I do mean practice, in a way that is safe. Not for them, but for other people, people they will never meet, who will never know to thank them, but who will benefit from their gift. I have benefited. Every doctor you have ever worked with has benefited, and so has every patient, and so have you. I knew this would be hard. You know this already, but I just wanted to confirm for you that it is true. And I think my grandfather would be very happy to know that in anatomy lab, my partner and I found opportunities to laugh. My grandfather was a very funny and playful person. His specialty was dirty limericks. He took great joy in life. That's why he wanted it to be better and longer for other people. That's why he made his donation. Thank you, and thank you to them.
My name is Connor Ward, and I'm also a first-year medical student here. As you've already probably gotten a sense of today, the first day in the anatomy lab can be filled with a variety of emotions for us as students. Nervousness, excitement, sadness, anticipation. And while I experienced a mixture of all of those, I also experienced a deep feeling of reverence that I felt as I met the anatomical donor that I would be privileged to work with throughout the year. That feeling came as I considered the gift that I, as a medical student, had been given. My donor had chosen to allow themselves to become a teacher for the next generation of physicians and healthcare providers. And over the course of the year, I came to better understand the unique opportunity that their choice provided me as a learner. To me, the word reverence conveys ideas of respect, wonder, and even awe. And as such, it wasn't a feeling that was entirely new to me. It's something I often feel as I learn about the intricate mechanisms that make us us. It's one of the reasons that I chose to pursue a career in medicine. And for the first 2 months of medical school, prior to even entering into the anatomy lab, we had taken a dive into genetics, biochemistry, cell biology, and immunology. We had learned about the molecules, RNA, DNA, proteins, that build our cells, which build our organs, and eventually which build us. And so I stood that day in the anatomy lab and I looked on a macroscopic, on a human level, at everything that I had just spent 2 months learning. And I wondered and I reverenced. As I considered the beauty of a system that was so complex and yet so refined that it allows each of us to live, to breathe, to think, to learn, and to love. In each anatomy lab, there's a plaque that states in part, "Embrace the gift your donor has given with excitement, and be eager to use the gift which you will have forever, the gift of knowledge." Our donors were a gift to each of us as they became our teachers throughout the year. The learning that we obtained from our lectures was complemented and enhanced by the opportunity to learn from our donors. That learning went far beyond just simple anatomy and physiology. We also had a chance to better understand the ways in which the complex system that keeps us alive breaks down. We were able to learn what we as physicians can do to try and help fix it. And at the same time, each time that we came to the anatomy lab, we were provided a constant reminder, a consistent lesson that inevitably there comes a time when there's no more that we can do. And whether it be from complicated disease, accidents, or simply old age, eventually each of us moves on. And yet, even in this, our donors taught us another important lesson, that in loss, there can also be learning, and that the end of our lives does not necessarily have to be the end of the impact that our lives will make. And so to our donors and to their families, loved ones, and friends who are here, With the respect and with the reverence that you have taught us, and of which you are so deserving, we say thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your lives and your journeys. Thank you for the gift of knowledge that you gave us. And most importantly, thank you for the gift of reverence for the human body and for the human spirit, a gift that will allow us to be not just more compassionate physicians, but also more compassionate people in years to come.
Hello, I'm Kelly Sullivan. I'm part of the anatomy faculty. I attended my first memorial service here, in Rackham, not here, in 2006. I had just returned to teaching from being a basic scientist that August, and the previous January, I just lost my mother to cancer. I was terrified. I was afraid that I would see her in every donor in the room. And I was really afraid that the loss would just totally overwhelm me. But I had the support of my fellow faculty, and that was very helpful. But what made the difference, what allowed me to turn the corner, were the students. Their dedication to their future patients, their respect for their donors, their drive to understand anatomy, turned my anxiety into joy and pride. Joy that there were selfless individuals in the world that made this type of learning possible, and pride at being part of an educational team whose goal was training people who would someday take care of people like my mom. At this point in my career, there's still a very complex set of emotions that reveal themselves with each new group of students. Joy when we meet them, oh my goodness, for the first time, and share their excitement as they begin this journey. They worked so hard and so long to get here, and they're so determined to learn and to grow and to serve. But that's mixed with some profound sadness and empathy as we enter the lab together, and we're reminded that for every donor, there's someone grieving. There are friends and family that are deeply missing them. You've heard stories tonight of gratitude and humility from our students, how the gift of a donor has changed their lives and will change the lives of their future patients. I would like you to know that this gift also has a profound impact on the faculty, the anatomy faculty and the anatomy staff, as they care for and teach beside these most amazing individuals. I thank you all so much for being here and sharing this time with us and giving us the opportunity to personally thank you for this gift. This concludes our memorial service. Again, our sincere thanks for your presence, and we invite you all to share your thoughts and stories with each other and with our students outside of the auditorium. Thank you.